Hi there, Abby here. Welcome to day 4 of the Ignite Your Sales Challenge. Now in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how to increase your sales using the superpower of referrals. Now, we all know about referrals. We probably give them fairly regularly in our personal lives. But how often are we actually using our existing clients for a referral in our business, and also doing this as a consistent, repeatable process in our business? This isn't something we should be doing as a one-off. This is something we should be consistently doing. Because in reality, we often aren't asking for referrals because of our fear of being rejected, what if someone says no, or potentially coming across as pushy or salesy, and that's why we don't ask. But the truth is the majority of clients are actually happy to give them, and therefore we need to leverage this. So before we go any further, let's take a minute to look at the research for a moment. So research shows that 91% of customers are willing to give a referral. 91%, that's huge. But only 11% are actually asking for them. So that is an enormous missed opportunity and a disconnect. And it also shows if you were to ask, you would be in the minority and therefore have a competitive advantage. The research also tells us that customers who have been referred are 4 times more likely to buy from you. Again, an enormous advantage here. And that is because the person referring has already done the selling. They would have shared their own experiences, they would have talked about how great you are to work with, what outcomes they got, what results they were. So before you've even spoken to them, they're already half sold on your product or service. So referrals, those people become an extended part of your sales force. And I had a great example of this in my own life last week. I asked a friend for a recommendation for a new accountant. She gave me the details. I didn't even look at this person's website. I didn't even look them up. I didn't look at their reviews. I was ready to go ahead with that person purely based on the trust that I have with my friend and that recommendation. That person had no sales effort and they just got a new lead. So we need to be using this, as I said, because it will be in the minority that do, and it will give us a competitive advantage. So let's now look at how we put this into action in your business. So there's 2 ways of going about referrals. The first way is good old-fashioned picking up the phone and speaking to your loyal customers who are happy to refer you. But there's a certain way that we need to go about having this conversation. Now this option is better where you've got a small number of clients, you've got quite a strong relationship, it's quite a personal relationship, and therefore picking up the phone is appropriate. Now the format that we need to follow when we ask for this referral is essentially what is in it for that person being referred. And so it can't just be all about us, what's in it for me, I want a referral, do you know anyone? That doesn't work because it becomes all about us. We're also not narrowing the field in asking for a specific referral. So if we're saying, do you know anyone? That could be anyone. It doesn't necessarily narrow the field for that person to think of someone. It also doesn't mean they'd necessarily be a good fit for your business and the right referral. So the way I tend to say it is, hey, do you know anyone who's a small business owner? They're looking to increase their sales. Perhaps they're struggling a little bit with sales and not really getting where they want to be, and therefore they could benefit from working with someone like me. So we're talking about the benefit that that person being referred would get. It's not just about me. I've also narrowed the field by giving an example, so when that person's scratching their head trying to think of someone, it's easier to think of them. The next step is to ask for permission. And this can be purely as simply as, can you check with Sally that she's happy to receive a call from me? That sounds like it'd be a great opportunity. Let me give her a call. But check and get permission first. Because when you then make that phone call to Sally, who you've been referred to, it's a warm conversation, it's a warm introduction. She's welcomed the call. Now the second option is an email process. Now this process is better suited to your business if you have a large client database and it's not so heavily focused on that individual relationship, and therefore an email is the more effective way to approach this. Now there's 2 steps to the email process. The first step is to email your existing database with just a 1-question survey and simply ask them, how satisfied are you with your product or service, our product or service, on a scale of 1 to 10? and ask them to come back and rate you. For those that responded 7 or below, that's a separate activity around client satisfaction to ask a few more questions and understand why you weren't rated higher and how you could improve and understand their concerns. For those that scored 8 or above, they are perfect, happy, loyal, raving fans, perfect to give a referral. So step 2 is to then go back to these 8 or above, maybe 2-3 days later, with an email or even a phone call if you prefer, with a refer a friend offer or asking for the referral. So a great way to do this when it's mass email is to offer some sort of promotion, discount, gift by referring a friend. Now, the important part of this is to keep it so simple. It can just be as simple as, email me their contact details that you've referred a friend and I'll give you this free gift, or I'll give you a code for a 10% discount. Don't overcomplicate it and make it into this massive promotion, because otherwise we'll never get it launched, we'll never get it running, and it becomes too complicated for people to understand how they redeem the offer. Now, the tools that you can use to embed this survey are either Google Forms, Typeform, Survey Gizmo, those sorts of tools, which are really simple. So let's recap. Option 1, let's contact 5 clients by phone. And as I said, the key here is not to make it all about us. It's narrow the field of the type of person who would benefit from working with someone like myself, who needs help. So the 5 clients by phone, and that, as I said, is more suitable for you if you've got personal relationships that you can leverage and smaller number of clients. Option 2, option 1, option 2 is email. And like we said, step 1 of the email process is asking out of 1 to 10, how satisfied are they with your product or service? Then simply following up 2 to 3 days later with the 8+, asking for a referral. And just keep it super simple, because if we make it really complicated, we'll never do it. And just remember, like we've talked about, imperfect action is better than no action at all. So don't wait for the perfect email, the perfect promotion. Make it really simple. Put yourself now locked away in a room for 30 minutes to decide which one you're going to go for, and either construct the email or make the phone calls and just take that action. So don't forget our 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 and go. I'll see you tomorrow in the next day of our challenge.